officially as the Vice President of Education of the Dnipro Hills Club. And I'm saying that hello and welcome to our first online meeting in the year of 2023. And this meeting is going to be special, a bit special. You will see and you will hear it really soon. But before the start of the meeting, before passing control to our today's really distinguished and really experienced Toastmaster of the day, I would like to give a few words, invite for a few words our friends, our guests, someone who probably for the first time here. There are our friends and members from other clubs who are our frequent friends at our online meetings. However, I see some people who's visiting us for the first time. I would like to invite you guys to unmute yourselves and introduce yourselves. I see Tai Fujimoto. Can you please put on your... Yes, you switched on your camera. Please unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm from Japan, and now we are in 7 p.m. So good evening.
Good evening.
So Toastmaster Wensu invited me to join this meeting. So this is my first time to visit other Ukraine club, so it's very pleasure to meet you tonight, today. So thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Good evening to you, and please enjoy the meeting. I see another guest, and it is Daniels. I guess you are also for the first time here, or maybe for the second time. Please switch on your camera if you can do that, unmute yourself, and please introduce yourself. Daniel, can you hear us? Okay, let's move on to another guest. I guess that we saw Suwon here before. However, please introduce yourself again.
Thank you. I'm actually visiting for the first time, but it's fantastic to be here and fantastic to meet all of you. Especially, I'm pleasantly surprised that my friend, Alicia, whom, as you know, has a widespread international footprint in Toastmasters, is here in this meeting as well. It is also my first time to join a meeting of any club in Ukraine, and it's a very unique experience for me, and I'm very happy to be here. I invited Tai Fujimoto, who is in the same Mandarin Chinese club with me in Japan, and so we are happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Huge applause to Suwon, and we are really happy to see here guests and friends from your part of the world. Also, I see Janika here. Please unmute yourself and say a few words about yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm Janika, and I've been in Toastmasters for about 10 years, and this is my first time ever coming to a Ukraine Toastmasters. Alicia invited me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to see you here, and welcome to Ukraine, at least online. Hope one day you would visit us physically, because I see here our frequent guest and our friend Craig Rantry, who is from Australia, and he has been to Ukraine. He has been to Ukraine before physically. He visited us. Hi, Craig. I would like also to greet our friends Alicia to greet Anna, of course, to greet our today's Toastmaster of the day, Janet, and of course our speaker, workshop speaker, Andrzej. So, having said all of that, I would like to remind you about some rules. Even if we don't hear each other, because it's something like codex, when we do not, when we mute ourselves when others are speaking, and we unmute ourselves when we are speaking. Even despite all of that, please show that you support the speakers. Clap your hands or show like your palms like that, and do not forget to switch on your camera if you can do that while you are speaking. And please be careful to the signs that timer gonna show you. Having said all of that, I'm ready to pass control to our today's distinguished Toastmaster of the day, who is Janet Adams. Please, huge round of applause. Show that you are clapping, and I'm disappearing. I'm muting myself. Janet, welcome.
Thank you so much, Natalie, and I'm very pleased to be with you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, because truly people come to Ukraine from all over the world. To warm up the audience this morning, I was thinking of poetry and how important poetry has been to me. I remember many years ago, after I got my first job, one of the first things I did was buy myself a book of poetry. And today I want to introduce to you an American poet, but first I want to tell you why poetry is important. Poetry is a life-cherishing force, for poems are not words after all, but fires for the cold, ropes let down to the lost, something as necessary as bread in the pockets of the hungry. And Mary Oliver said that in her book called Poetry Handbook. And let me show you who is Mary Oliver. Mary is an American poet who lived from 1935 to 2019. And she was a National Book Award winner and the Pulitzer Prize winner. Let me share one brief poem, and I'll share more later in the meeting. This one is called Poem of the One World. This morning, the beautiful white heron was floating along above the water, and then into the sky of this, the one world we all belong to, where everything sooner or later is a part of everything else, which thought made me feel for a little while quite beautiful myself. And then the poem that I was introduced to by Mary Oliver, whoops, let me move to the right here. Instructions for living a life. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. And I think what a marvelous poem for Toastmasters. Be astonished, pay attention, tell about it. And that's what we're going to hear our speakers doing this morning in our two prepared speeches and possibly in table topics. And so I would like to go on and introduce our technical team for the day, starting with our counter, Andrii Tymoshenko. Please tell us about the role of the counter today.
Yes, thank you, Janet. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrii Tymoshenko. Today I'm playing a role of a counter, and what that means for all of the audience, I hear and watch carefully for your speech, for your words, for your sentences, and sometimes we make some mistakes with some phrases, some words, some sounds, some phrases and words like well, okay, you see, you know, by the way, exactly, basically, but, so, like, I mean, yes. really, yeah, it's many sound, many words. And as for sounds, ah, och, and another. And in the end of the meeting, I give you my feedback. Thank you. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Sergey. And now let's meet and hear from our timer for the day, Alexander Mayanchuk.
Hello, I am the timer and I will check the time of your speeches. And during the evaluation session, I will tell you the time of your speeches. I will briefly recall the basic rules. The green card means that you have time to give a speech. The yellow card means that you have time to, but it's better to hurry because time will up soon. And the red card means that you have to finish your speech because time has passed. I wish you the green time frame and all the best. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Alexander, for keeping us on track today. And now we will hear from our grammarian, Natalie Barabocha.
Thank you, and thank you for greeting me like that. Actually, we have heard a lot of words and sounds that shouldn't be said before that by our Sergey, our counter, and I'm going to tell you what you should say, the word of the day. However, I will introduce it a bit later, and now I'm going to remind about the role itself. Okay, I'm a grammarian for today, and I'm doing my job, that is to keep the track of all the words or phrases or word expressions that you say and that are a bit or completely incorrect grammatically. And at the same time, I'm going to note all the examples of your good examples, best examples, excellent examples of using English not only properly, but also excellent examples. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And what would I ask you to do? I would like to urge you to use the word of the day. And the word of the day is devoted and it corresponds to the topic of our today's workshop. The word of the day is bargain. That means it has some similar different meanings, not different, but similar meanings. The main meaning is agreement, or it can be very, very good, cheap purchase, or to negotiate if it is not a noun, but a verb. So agreement, we made a bargain that we would not forsake each other. So when we making a bargain, that means that we agreed to do something together. Group of people or two people between each other. When we have a cheap purchase that we bought, that means that we bought something much more cheaper than we expected. That means that we have made a bargain. So the table, purchasing the table was a real bargain. So someone bought that table much cheaper than he or she expected. Or it can be the verb to negotiate, meaning the negotiate. So when we bargained with someone, that we negotiated about something. For instance, he bargained with the local council to rent the stadium. So please use the word of the day, that is bargain, as often as you can. And at the end of the meeting, I will announce the winner of using the word of the day, and I will announce all the examples of proper and not really proper using of English language. Thank you very much. Passing control to the Toastmaster Janet.
Thank you very much, grammarian Natalie. And I forgot to bargain with the officers before this meeting started and to check on your protocol. Do I, as the Toastmaster, bring the speakers to the virtual lectern, or does the evaluator bring the speaker to the virtual lectern in this group? It can vary.
That's the job of the Toastmaster. So
Perfect. Got it. All right. So wonderful. We are progressing along then to our features of the evening. We have 2 speakers today. Our first speaker today is giving a Pathways project from the Presentation Mastery Path, Level 2, his first project in this. Understanding Your Communication Style. And the title of Andrei's speech today is A Hybrid Story. Let's welcome to the virtual lectern then, Andrii Tymoshenko.
Can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me? Wave a hand. All right, so Toastmasters, here's me. All right, so let's begin. Welcome you all who have time to join us today. For me, it's been almost a year. Can you imagine, a year since my last time attending the meeting? It's a hybrid meeting, so a title, a hybrid meeting would be a perfect match. Being a human makes us all different and same. Under some particular circumstances, people may experience a great variety of emotion, from very pleasant, happiness, interested, proud, to unpleasant, shade of anxiety, anger, or sadness. You couldn't agree more. That is crucial to understand your own feelings, as well as to know the strategy, how to manage your emotions. Also, it's a vital topic, but my today's speech is about another significant matter, communication, either a one-way or a two-way interaction. Communication plays an important role. It would be hard to imagine our lives without it. Based on the situation, the style a person uses to interact with one another can smooth out the situation or make it worse. Believe your communication style can either ruin or save your relationship, no matter what type of relationship it is. Family, work, romantic, or some personal, etc. I'm going to share something with you. Even you may recognize yourself, don't worry. Any similarity to real people or events is completely coincidental. Let's take, for example, your first time you joined the Toastmasters. Perhaps it was your friend who told you about this wonderful opportunity so you can brush up on your English, in spite of the fact you had planned for quite a while to work on your English, to improve your speaking skills. But you had been always busy with life, and English slowly drifted to the back of your mind. Does it remind you of somebody? First, when you heard about this wonderful opportunity, you had doubts to grab or not this wonderful chance. However, your friend spoke in a friendly, careful, patient manner, and he created a non-tensional atmosphere, and it made you calm down. And you start to show some interest, and you ask some open-ended questions, answers followed, and you agreed, and you marked your calendar for the upcoming event. Let's think, if your friend was bossy, and he was impatient, and he was not putting himself in your shoes, what kind of communication would it be? Probably and definitely not an effective one. But your friend was diplomatic. He was very kind because he was probably in the same situation as you are now. Time passed. You and your friend you came on time to attend the meeting. To be on time is very important. Once you took your seats, the president and the meeting started. The president, or it was a vice president, he looked very confident. The way he talked gave everybody that he's in control of the situation. The president, as the speaker, had a task, so his speech sounded structured. Later on, guests were invited to introduce themselves. The president was energetic, encouraging, and friendly, because some people need an extra spark to ignite their own courage, to do things they have been reluctant to do. For example, to speak in front of a small but unknown group of people. It's not an easy task for an unprepared person. Please high five if you have been to a similar situation. Proper words and a certain way of putting them into sentences with the right attitude will become the stimulant a person needs at that point of time. If you have recognized yourself, it means my communication with you was successful today. Need I say, our dialogues, some as dialogues in my story, they can be foreseen. A speaker can be ready for them by finding the appropriate words and choosing the way they can be delivered. But if an interaction between two people, it's a situational, it can take place anywhere, in workplace, in public, in the family. How can you be prepared? For this reason, think one step further. You would like and talked in the way you would like to be taught. If something went wrong, don't worry. Analyze, make changes to match your expectations. Aside from it, always remember the purpose of your speech. Thank you.
Let's give our speaker a huge applause for his speech today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now we take a minute, and our timer will give us a minute. Your background is still up, Alexander. To give feedback to our first speaker of the day. So please open the chat and go to the link and give our speaker your feedback, your encouragement. I see it's time to wrap up that feedback for our first speaker, and we'll prepare for our second speaker of the day, which is going to be a workshop. Our speaker today is coming to us from North London, I believe. Andrzej is the founder of the Manka Academy. He's an entrepreneur and sales professional, passionate about the future of entrepreneurship. I'm sure we're going to hear about that. He's the author of blogs and articles. You can find him by searching for him on the internet, and you can find his academy. He attended university in Krakow, studying cinema, TV, mass media, including propaganda and the art of persuasion. He's also a passionate runner and a lover of jazz and science fiction. So without further bargaining, we're going to hear a 30-minute workshop on 3 steps to transition from employee to dream business owner. Let's please welcome and bring to the virtual podium, Andrzej Manka.
Thank you very much, Janet. I'm just after my morning run. I was yesterday, I was accepted to the London Marathon. It was an amazing surprise because it's not easy. You need to find a charity, but I feel that my voice hurts a little bit. It's a bit cold in London, but I hope that I'll manage to do our workshop. Thank you very much. I really, for invitation, for accepting my my workshop. It's really great pleasure to be here again. I had a workshop a couple of months ago about storytelling, and today we'll be talking about the topic that I believe is relevant for some of us. Maybe some of you considered in the past how to start your own business. Maybe some of you think about this seriously or from to time, or you've got friends. So I think it's a quite interesting topic and process, how we can plan actually, how we can execute a smooth transition or just transition. If it's not smooth, it can be anyway. It's good to try. So I'll start, of course, I'll prepare a presentation. So for those who prepare, visuals, who would like to see, not only here, then I hope it will be more helpful. Let me share the screen. So today we'll be talking about, as Janet introduced, my workshop about how to transition from employee to dream business owner. I've got a very helpful, very simple, but very powerful system that we can use, and I would like to share these 3 steps. But before we go to our 3 steps, let's have a look at a couple of statistics. So 64% of UK labor force wants to start their business, but when we dig deeper, we see that half of them are afraid to do that. When we check statistics from other countries, it looks pretty much similar. I think we probably remember that 2 years ago, it was the kind of social movement called the big resignation, the Great Resignations. It happened in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, and actually this kind of movement, because people didn't communicate with them, it was like very spontaneous movement, was about just quitting their jobs. The pandemic brought a lot of new insight about how we can run our lives, and a lot of people simply quit their jobs and exactly what they did after they quit the jobs, millions of them quit their jobs. Only a small percentage started their businesses, even if when we go through some popular statistics, starting your own business is a quite interesting perspective, is something that a lot of us consider, and it looks very exciting, at least, when we have a look at, when we compare how to, what kind of fruits that we can get from our employment, and how much we can gain when we've got our businesses. So why is that? Why is it so difficult actually to run our business? So there is a pretty obvious reason. Our system, the system we live in, has been created by the big organizations and business organizations, governments, churches. So, and these organizations, they need followers, they need workers, they need soldiers. They need people who could feel like the system. It's nothing bad or nothing good. It depends, how you see reality. What are your values? This is how it is. I would say this is just a simple observation. So, however, when we want to start our business, we want to start doing things on our own, we encounter quite a lot of barriers and issues. And I would say that majority of them is probably related with the way how we think about, they are related with the way how we make decisions, how we perceive certain things. So this is something that we'll today consider a little bit, and we go through some common barriers. I myself went through this transition. I started my business, and I had to go like from being an employee to a business owner, and it took me a while. I spoke with many other people who did the same process. We've got a rising number of clients of our academy that also like go through this process. So after some time, I designed, as I mentioned in the beginning, quite powerful and very simple at the same time process. But let's have a look at one important thing that it's, I would say, very important when we want to do this transition. I think that one of the best things we can design our lives when we are thinking about transition from being employee to business owner is to like create a kind of aha moment, like a moment of illumination. What I mean by this, when I examine a bit what categories or what types of these aha moments or moments of illuminations in our lives can be, I came to the conclusion that we've got like three types of, I would like to share with you three types of this illuminations or aha moments, so you can see how it works. Because actually starting your business when you are an employee requires quite a lot of effort, and sometimes this illumination moment can be a real breakthrough, and you can start to see things in a different way straight away. So the first category of this kind of aha moments are spiritual transformations. And my favorite story, I love this story because it's about the Apostle Paul, who was a very influential rabbi, and his like life mission was to kill as many Christians as possible. And one day he traveled to Damascus and he met the Lord himself, and the Lord asked him, "Why do you persecute me?" And that was such a unbelievably like shocking experience for the Paul. He wasn't yet apostle, that he like completely changed the way how we not only was thinking, perceiving reality, but of course how he was acting. And as a result, he became, as we know, probably the most prominent Christian in history, and most of Christian ideology we know because he wrote a lot of letters. The second type of transformation is when we fall in love. I think, I hope that most of us, or actually probably every one of us, had at least a couple of times in our lives this kind of experience. So we live in the same reality. We are in the same job, we are in the same situation. So I would say objectively nothing has changed, but suddenly we see things from a completely different perspective because something has changed in us within, right? So we suddenly experience reality in a completely different way. And the third type of this kind of experience comes from reading book. I mean, it happens quite frequently that the starting point in someone's life is a book, is a good book, is a good story, is something that is so inspiring, it's so good, it's so relevant for someone's situations, or that suddenly, the book can be a starting point of doing something else in life, something new, trying new things. So that's also an example of an illumination moment or aha moment. So the book, of course, it might be a training course or something that like can refresh or change our perspective on certain things. And today, most of the things we'll be talking about when it comes to a comparison, the employee mindset or entrepreneur's mindset is related mostly with some kind of psychological stuff, sometimes related with the way how we think, and that's actually is something that we should consider in the beginning, something we should start with. So as I said, we designed a quite simple system I would like to share with you. and hopefully see if you know, if you also consider this kind of approach to transition from employee to a business owner in a similar way. The first step in this system is transition, then we've got adaptation and growth. Let's have a look at transition. So transition is the moment when an employee should adopt an entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial mindset, because the most of differences between how an employee operates and a business owner like stem from the way how we think, our value system, how we connect dots, so pretty much how we interpret reality. So that, like, the way of thinking, I would say, is a crucial is a thing to do, is a fundamental part of this process. So what does it mean to adopt entrepreneurial spirit? What is it, entrepreneurial spirit? It's a quite simple thing, I would say, but at the same time also very challenging or difficult. So for instance, I will share with you only 3 examples of this kind of entrepreneurial spirit. So the first is that as the entrepreneur, you need to take risk constantly. As an employee, let's say we are of course talking about some kind of you know, the theoretical situations and typical situations. Of course, there might be jobs that require taking a lot of risk, or you can run a business that doesn't require so much risk because, for instance, it was started by your grandfather and then your father worked in it, and then you like work in this business, so you don't consider even as if it was anything risky. But like most of the time it looks like this. As an employee, you can play safe. You've got pretty much everything organized by your employer. And as an entrepreneur, you need to take a risk every single day, sometimes small risk, sometimes a pretty much big risk or high risk. But the managing risk is the first thing that is definitely like differentiate an employee from a business owner. And to manage risk effectively, the best way to manage risk effectively is to simply learn about something that we're going to do. The more we know about what we are going to do, the lower level of risk, perceived risk is. So is the best like key to manage risk properly is to simply learn about something, what we do. And of course, the learning process requires both like a theoretical knowledge, but also a constant like tests, trying and putting knowledge into practice. The second very important thing is confidence. I mean, when you start your business, actually, you might feel very alone. You've got your project, you've got your expectations, you've got your business plan and big hopes, of course, high hopes, but actually you are the only person in the whole universe that need to like bring confidence in the uncertain reality. It's quite sometimes, I would say, it's the greater obstacle for some people, like to bring confidence or certainty in the reality. Most of us, I would say, like automatically would expect that certainty comes from external circumstances. No, it doesn't work like this. You know, the certainty or uncertainty, like risk is pretty much, or most of the time, is a very individual thing to experience. So the confidence and belief in what I do is the second thing that like differentiate these both types of earning. I mean, employee and a business owner. And the third very important thing is to, as entrepreneurs, we need to be great leaders. We need to know how to lead people, how to create vision, how to persuade others to follow us and to go into direction of this vision, to make it interesting and relevant for people. So like leadership skills are absolutely essential. Of course, it happens quite often that leadership skills are also required when we employees, especially when we are managers or directors, but certainly as a business leader, I need to be really great. As a business owner, I need to be really a great leader. So the second step, so once we like understood and applied it in practice, it's not only about understanding, but also like putting in practice the entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial mindset. And we finally got our business plan and we started our business. The second step, we start the second step, which is adaptation. Adaptation is about, first of all, I would say the most important thing we do during this process is to differentiate between working in your business and working on your business. It's a small semantic difference, I would say, but it has huge consequences. So when I work in my business, which pretty much everyone or most of us, when we start our business, we will be working in the beginning in our business. We'll be generating leads, we'll be creating content, calling our customers, building our website, and so on and so on. So it's like we will be acting pretty much as self-employees. But the real business starts when we work on our business, not only in our business, which is especially in the beginning sometimes necessary to do, to work in our business, but most of the time we should work on our business. So what does it mean to work on your business? You work on your business when you work on your business model. And your business model is about how you operate, how your business operates, how you generate money, what are your values, how you are going to build different streams of income. You work on your business when you work on the perception of your business. Perception is really important. I mean, how we are perceived will determine, whether we will be able to get regularly new customers or not. When I work on my business, I also design growth, which is very interesting strategy, by the way. I, of course, build a team because as a business owner, I need to create a system, an organization. I cannot be only self-employed. I need to make an effort and start organizing a proper team, specialists who should be better than myself. So it takes quite, I would say, big humility sometimes, to do that, because as business owners, especially in the beginning, we think that everything is about me, about my skills, about my greatness. And of course, we are great. Every one of us is great. There's no doubt. But as a business owner, I need to make a huge effort to attract people who are smarter than me, who are better than me, and want to work with me. So I need to find actually the way to do that. So, and also working on a business is to having a very clear idea what product I want to design, how I am going to develop my product. Is also about experiments. I mean, the best way to develop business effectively is to design regularly a lot of experiments and draw some conclusions. And that's, this new information, feedback is something that help accelerate business progress. And then the third step in this journey is to design a growth. I mean, actually, this is something that we need to include in our thinking about our business, a business plan, and everything we do is our business from the very beginning. There is no actually a proper business, I would say. There is no a good business without constant growth. So growth should be a part of my thinking from the very beginning, thinking, planning, and of course, executing. Someone said, that's probably one of the best metaphors of a business that I've ever heard, is that running a business is a bit like kayaking against a very strong current. So once you stop paddling, you immediately go back. This is how it works actually. So that means that I would say that the growth starts, of course, with our mindset. So if I don't believe in learning, I don't have this attitude to learn all the time something new. I don't have a proactive attitude. I don't listen others. I'm not able to admit my mistakes. I've got this kind of close mindset, which is you know, a little bit selfish, I would say, a little bit egoistic, and I don't have like enough motivation to be all the time open for new ideas, for new opportunities. So that's the first actually step we need to do. We need to like make sure that our mindset is as business owner is proper, because as a business owner, I actually I am an example for people I work with. The best way to lead an organization or even a small team is to be a good example. That's the best strategy. So I need to myself like show that I believe in growth. I'm interested in growth. I looking for opportunities to grow my business, and I all the time like in this learning mode. I want to learn with others. I want to encourage others to learn. So I would say that Toastmaster is a good place to develop such skills. So growth is like, I can give you two examples. What does it mean to like design growth, and what does it mean to like put into practice the growth principle? So there are a lot of interesting techniques. Everyone can do that, but I will share with you two quick examples. The first is so-called marginal gains. Marginal gains, when you think about how actually is the best way to grow your business, you can like divide your business into as small chunks as possible. So let's say, as you saw on this graph, you can, for instance, see your business as a 12 elements. So you think about your business as this 12 elements. You need to, if it's online business, if it's an online business, you need to think about a proper SEO, about product, about price, and so on and so on. And then you can divide this elements like perception, let's say, which is marketing, or SEO, which is search engine optimization, into smaller chunks, something that is like, you can like see this stuff on the operational level. So let's say when you are talking about marketing, you can for instance, see your social media profiles as like separate elements of your marketing strategy. You can see in the same way your email marketing. So you can think about autoresponders as a very important part of your email marketing, your newsletters, your sales emails. So you've got quite a lot of like this very small chunks. And once you've got the list of these chunks, it should be at least 100 elements or so. Then the next step is to work on every of these elements every day to like make small improvements. It's, it's like here let's say you test subject lines, and you like remember that you need to improve all the time the way how you use design your emails. Especially a subject line is important because it's very often like the same like a title of your articles in a blog. It determines whether people are interested and they will open it or not. So that's the first thing. Then you work, let's say, on the size of your Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts. So you like test different strategies and tactics, and then finally you can all the time like improve the size, which means that you like see whether people prefer to read shorter messages or rather they enjoy reading long and very like sophisticated. Then you can work on a sales process. You can make some small improvements, for instance, let's say the way how you source your leads. You can improve the quality of your pitch. You can practice a little bit asking proper questions. So when we do this constant effort, the small steps, we can experience after sometimes a couple of months, we can experience suddenly like exponential growth, like a sudden explosion. It's amazing. But this is one of the things everyone can do with our business. And the second strategy might be to work at the same time, not only on one element, but let's say on 3 elements. So how does it work? Let's say that your main concern at the moment is to like attract more customers. So you're like, your goal is to attract, let's say, 10% more customers every month. So that's good. That's good idea. When we've got more customers, certainly our business can thrive and can develop. But how about adding the second factor, which is let's work also on strategy that will enable every new customers to buy more frequently. Let's say you know that they buy on average 10 times a year. So let's design a strategy that they could buy, like, let's say 12 times a year. And then let's add one more factor. Let's say that they spend on average £10. So let's say that from now on I will be working so every customers will spend £11, not £10, but 11. So this, like, when this tactics will accumulate, and we work not only on one but 3 strategies, 3 tactics, then this accumulated results will be really very impressive. It's much better than when we have a look, examine figures and income, then we'll see a huge difference. So there are quite a lot of quite simple, I would say, strategies. That the third might be, for instance, you can raise capital, right? So that's also the way how very often businesses develop faster, when we simply got more capital to do more marketing campaigns or sell more frequently. Okay, so at the end, I wanted to also draw your attention to a very important thing. I mean, the best plan. So we've got a system, we've got a business plan, we've got an idea, a model, but actually once we put into practice even the best plans, the best systems, they require a constant improvements. So General Eisenhower, probably you remember this guy, he was responsible for D-Day, one of perhaps the biggest operation in human history. Then he was the president of the United States. He said something like, the plans are useless, but planning are everything. Plans are useless, but planning is everything. What did he mean? I think that he discovered that even the best our plans, really great plans that we can design, once we put into practice, they will be we'll have to like make all the time like adjustments, improvements. We'll have to add something or correct something, and the reason is because reality is much more complex than we think. It's much more complex than we think. So even if I am a master of planning, if I do my plans are really very sophisticated, very detailed, it doesn't matter. That we need to like develop this attitude of planning all the time. So we need to, of course, design plans. We need to have a good business plans and do plan. And plans must be really like, we need to put a lot of effort and knowledge and heart in our plans. But at the same time, we need to work on to develop this planning habit, to just plan all the time and work with our plans, constantly. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. If you've got questions or comments, then we've got probably 1 or 2 minutes, perhaps. Do we have a time, Alexander?
Yes, we have 2 minutes.
3 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay.
So Alicia has a question.
Yes.
Thanks, Janet. Actually, and thanks to Andrzej for presentation. I always wondering what to do if the reality is so much different than expectation. Can you share maybe some personal example how you managed to cope with all this circumstance, for example?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I think the best strategy is to focus on what we can control. And even if reality can be overwhelming and horribly difficult, actually, sometimes we tend to focus on something that we cannot control, and that's the source of our additional pain. So, I think the best way is to focus on the small things that I can control in my life. And after some time, I can achieve anyway quite a lot, focusing most of the time on things that I can manage, which is not, of course, probably the easiest strategy, but very, very effective.
Thanks.
Oh, it's 30 minutes have passed. Okay, thank you very much, Alexander.
And I will remind you, thank you for stop sharing. We should bargain with you here now, Andres, and meet again in a year to see who you have inspired and who has started their own business and grown their dreams of being their own business owner. I want to ask you, Andrzej, do you have your own Google feedback form today, or did you want the group to give you their feedback form?
Oh, you can share in the chat if you want, or, I'm also in a WhatsApp group, so you can find me in WhatsApp, but chat I think would be good, unless there is a form. Oh, Natalie.
Natalie has a form ready to put into, in fact, she has done it. She's put a form in there.
Thank you very much. Really, thank you, Natalie.
So, Alexander, could you give us a minute for that feedback?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And you can wrap up your evaluation for our second speaker today. And let's give him another round of applause, please, for presenting a workshop for this group. Again, that's his second workshop for this group. He's a good friend of this group. And now we will move along to our table topics session. And I would like to bring to the virtual lectern our table topics master, all the way from, I believe, Ireland. Tetiana, please give us our table topics session today.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening for everybody, where you are. Today, my role is table topic master, and it means that I prepared some questions for you. Before we start, let me remind you table topic session rules. This is a session dedicated to unprepared speeches. You have from 1 to 2 minutes to deliver your speech. Your answers should include opening, body, and conclusion. And at the end of the session, we will vote the best table topic speaker. Don't forget to look at the timer signals, and also don't forget to use the word of the day bargain. Now we will start, and please raise a hand who changed your job during the last year. Great. Imagine that I am the interviewer and you are the candidate for some of offer in my company. And now I ask you the question. It will be not the usual general question like to tell me about your strength side or your weaknesses, etc. But unusual question like the UBS Swiss bank asked the question for its the candidate for operation role how are main holes round? It will be the same. I hope that you are ready to speak with me, to deliver your speeches, and maybe it will help you in the future to bargain regarding your high level of salary. The first question is, we finish the interview and you step outside of the office and you find lottery tickets that ends up winning $10 million. What you will do? Do we have the volunteer? If not, let me to invite for this question. Now you can see it in the chat. I think Craig Reinfer, you will be the best candidate for this question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I find this ticket and it's a winning ticket, $10 million. So I think to myself, have I got this job or not? Well, guess what? I'm not hanging around waiting for the answer. I've got $10 million in my hand. So therefore, I'm taking off. $10 million should last me for the rest of my life. I could put a portion of that into superannuation. I could set up a small business on the side if I needed it. And the other money, I can just spend it as I can, leisurely. First of all, I would start to travel. I would travel to the places that I haven't been to yet and definitely see those places, what I always dreamt about. Secondly, I would set up a business where it would be a business and a charity organisation as well. So I would sort of give back to society as well as claim a tax deduction as well. So I'd be giving back as well as taking back, fair thing. And thirdly, I definitely wouldn't tell anybody about it because that's where the problems would start to happen. Once you tell everybody about it, everybody feels that they have and deserve to have a cut out of it. But I would just secretly look after my family in the background and they would be asking, where does all this money come from? Well, I'd have to make up something about a business. But in summary, if you had the 10 million, it'd be tempting to do a lot. It'd be tempting to spend it all at once, which a lot of people do, but set up 3 structured things that you wanted to do. 1, what you always wanted to do. 2, start up a business with a charity to give back on the taxation. And 3rd, look after your family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Craig. The next question. Company Walgreen asked, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be and why? I send the question in the chat. I see Tetiana. Tetiana, please welcome. Screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. If I were a tree, I would be very old tree and very strong, with very strong roots, with very much of experience, with many memories, which I would be counted or just having like a secrets in my shadows or in my trees. I would be very big tree. Probably I would be the oak, but I would like also to be another trees. Just only one I like to be. I want to be strong tree. I want to have many interesting things to thought. I want to see many people around me. I want to know many secrets connected with that people. And I think while I'm just a tree, but old enough tree and very strong, my life still is interesting because whenever I'm just looking about watching that people, I know their secrets and I like to observe them. And of course, I like to be under the sun. Thank you.
Thank you, Tetiana. Thank you. The next question. What one animal best represents you as a person? What one animal best represents you as a person? Do we have a volunteer? No, in that case, let me invite on the stage Janika.
Thank you for that question. What animal would I represent? I would say a dolphin. For me, dolphin is one thing that represents me quite a lot. It was the time when my grandfather was still alive. He used to give me a dolphin necklace, and I would wear it every day, even to exams and wherever. It feels like it's the most thing that represents me apart from rabbit. So in my opinion, that's what represents me.
Thank you, Janika. Okay, we will go ahead. Next question. Company Poly1 asked the question to its financial candidates. What is the color of money? What is the color of money? Do you have somebody who will answer? Maybe in that case, I ask Taya Fujimoto.
Yes. So the color of money means I'm sorry. For me, what is the color of money you mean? So I'm sorry, I don't understand the question mean.
I think that you can to compare what you can receive with the money and what it will be the color when you just receive, I don't know, for example, the vacation, etc., etc. It can be, but it's up to you.
Okay. Or maybe other person can answer this question.
In that case, I can ask you the other question if you wish.
Yes.
Great. Okay, then maybe it will be a more, how to say it, more easy for you. The question is in the chat, what superpower would you like to receive?
So superpower I'd like to receive. So maybe sometimes superpower is very useful to have that maybe special skills. for example, can see what people think about, or can see what happened in the future. But I think I don't want to have this kind of superpower. Especially, I like to enjoy this moment, and I like to accept the past and future. So I think I enjoy myself in this moment. So I don't need the superpower for now. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Taya. Thank you. Okay, guys, next question. The question is, how many basketballs can fit on a bus? Very tricky question. But I think that we have somebody who can cope with this. If you don't have a volunteer, let me invite on the stage Eric Halliwell. Eric?
Hello. Sorry, you're going to get a little feedback here. I'm in the airport right now in Warsaw. But so, can you hear me okay? Okay. So, how many basketballs can fit on a bus? I would say 0 to infinity, okay? Because when you think of it, the basketball can be inflated to any variable degree. So they didn't say in the question whether or not they have to be fully pressurized basketballs. So I would say to the boss, there would be a range, you know, that is totally open. And it said, like a lot of other things in life, there aren't firm answers to things sometimes. There are only ranges and only other ways to think of the problem. So I'd say I could do a construction of the bus and do the size of the perimeter of the basketball and do a calculation that way. But it's much more variable to sometime, or much more important to expose the weakness in the question to a prospective employer, because that says you know how to think to get clarification, to get more answers to it, instead of needing to always come up with an answer to a question. So I'd leave it more open-ended. That's the way I handle it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, guys, next question. Do you remember that I am interviewer and you are a candidate for some of offer? A global IT company, ConnectWise, asked, someone gives you an elephant, which you can give away, cannot give away or sell. What would you do with it? You receive the elephant and you cannot give away or sell, nor sell. What you will do with this? Do you have somebody who wants to answer? Natalie, please welcome.
Okay, before I answer, I would like to ask my own question. What company I'm applying for position for? So what kind of company? What sphere?
It is an IT company. It is an IT ConnectWise company.
If it is an IT company, I think that that elephant can definitely help me with any issues. First of all, I would adopt that elephant. I hope it's going to be a boy, a male elephant, and he would help me to cope with the stress, because the job, you know, in the IT sphere is really stressful. It's a huge workload, and you have to manage all those tasks, and you have to meet the deadlines and do everything, and you have to remember about all your tasks. You have a lot of messages and so on, and it is stressful. And first of all, I would adopt him, and I would, give him cuddles and so on, and hope he would love me. Another thing, he would become my personal assistant, and he would help me to arrange and to organize my working space. So if it becomes messy, I mean my table, my room, working room, the elephant would help me to put it in order. Also, he would help me to message to my colleagues if those messages are pretty simple. For me not to, to distract for more bargaining tasks. And of course, he or she would help me to get somewhere, because sometimes, the traffic jams are awful. And when people see an elephant with a lady on it, they would definitely give me and him, my elephant, the space and free road to get to the working space, or to the working place, or to the, I guess, to some meeting, business meeting, and to have a bargain. That's it.
Thank you, Natalia. Nice. Next question. If you were on a desert island and could only bring 3 things or people there, what or who would you bring? If you were on a desert island and could only bring 3 things or people there, what or who would you bring? Do we have a volunteer? Andrew, please, welcome.
Hello.
I
Hello.
see.
It's a very good question, and it helps you to prioritize your life. Usually people tend to be emotional, but in this specific situation, you have to be practical and rational, because it depends, because your life depends on it. So my 3 people, or my 3 things would be, but I will probably choose people rather than things. And the first person would be a doctor, because life is the crucial thing. And if something happens on the desert island, so the doctor would be the one who can rescue us, because altogether there are 4 people. The second one would be an engineer. So the person who understands how physical things work in this life. And with his help and with our help, we can build houses, we can dig water so we can survive. And another person, it's gonna be a farmer. He will provide food for us. He will take care of what we need to survive. So literally our life will be similar to people in their prehistoric times. It will be boring, no TV, no music, but with our mind, we can create what we need. If we need drums, so probably we'll use coconuts to make drums, to make a drum set. If we need a guitar, so probably we find some plants to make strings, so it will be a guitar set. And if we need a flute, we can find, if it's a tropical island, I'm not sure if there is a bamboo, so we will probably find a bamboo, so we can play music and enjoy our life, because other aspects of our lives will be secured by those people, by a farmer, a doctor, and an engineer. Thank you.
Great, Andrew, great answer. Guys, the last question. What do you think of garden gnomes? What do you think of garden gnomes? Do we have a volunteer? Igor Golvarochny, maybe you will try.
Okay, garden gnomes is very important because he is a spy. He's observing what wife is doing all the time, and he's those who will discuss these questions with owner of the house. But sometimes garden gnomes is the man when he's playing a role of the husband of the wife. So to my mind, you need to be very careful when you bargain about garden gnomes, because it seems to me that this guy might be handsome and physically attractive, and at the same time with no emotions, because husband could guess for which reason garden gnomes is over here. So beautiful women, please don't disturb your husband with garden gnomes.
Thank you, thank you. Very nice question. I think that you will receive my offer. Okay, guys, our session comes to end, and now let me repeat the name of our participants. The first was Craig, then Tetiana, then Yanika, then Tai Fujimoto. The fifth was Eric, then Natalie Porubocha, then Andrew, and Igor was the last participant of our session. And in the chat, you can see in this online forum, and please vote who will be, in your opinion, the best table topic speaker. Thanks a lot, and I pass the stage to our Toastmaster, Janet Adams. Thank you.
Let's give her a big round of applause for some creative questions. I'm going to borrow some of those and take them to some of my other club. I also want to take the elephant with me because he just sounds like he'll be a great addition to my household. And the garden gnome outside, yeah, he's good looking. He's good looking. I appreciate that garden gnome. Why are gnomes every place at every holiday now? I don't understand this. In the United States, there's this big marketing thing with these gnomes all over the place now. I don't understand it, but that's what's going on here. All right, it's time to move along to the evaluation session segment of this meeting. And I would like to bring to this virtual stage our first speech evaluator, who is Sergey. And I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name, but please tell me how to say your last name, Sergey. Is he here? Did he drop? Natalia, can you see if he's still here?
Actually, I also don't see Sergey Golovatyuk here. Maybe...
Here he comes. Okay, he's back. I see him now.
Okay, Sergey Golovatyuk, it's evaluation time. And are you ready to evaluate Andrew's speech?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Let's bring him to the stage.
Hello, guys. I have very bad connection, so I try to be laconic in my evaluation. Thank you, Andrii, for his speech. The main purpose of this speech was discover his main and successful communication style and impact of this style on audience. So Andrii was very confident, and his voice was very clear and loud, and his every word was very clear, and speech was very good prepared, and he was enough emotional in his delivery. And I find out that his structure was clear, some intake opening, some main parts with a lot of examples, and good conclusion. But as for me, conclusion was not with pause in front of it, and I couldn't detect when difference between main part and conclusion. The main problem, as for me, was that when I compare delivery speech of Andrii during table topic session and prepared speech, I can compare the energetic style of his delivery, and I felt the much more impact of his speech during table topics session. So I feel that Andrii looked to the text and he lost some connection with audience because he read, and when he tried not read, he look up and his eyes closed. And this moment, I don't feel any connection with him. So I liked a lot of examples during his speech, but for me, I need more personal story, a story from another people's lives. So I hope that Andrii next time adds some personal story, because I like and people like storytelling. And if a lot of theory we put inside one speech, it's boring. If we add only one story, anecdotes or metaphor, it's much more interesting for everybody. So for me, very interesting, good prepared speech, but Andrii should work on not reading and putting some storytelling in each of his speech. Thank you, Andrii, and good luck. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Sergey. Glad your connection connected again. And now we move along to our table topic evaluator from the Standard Bearers, Alicia Curtis. I invite you to the stage.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are my table topics evaluations, and yes, these are done strictly. So the purpose of the table topics evaluations is to assist the speakers and those speakers with their impromptu speaking skills and provide direct feedback to the table topics responses that the speakers gave. So here we go. Craig Renfrey was the first speaker. What would you do with $10 million lottery ticket? So he spoke in the first person and how he would actually spend it in the present. So he was in the present tense rather than the past tense. I really like the way he delivered this. The improvement I would like to suggest to Craig tonight is check the technology. The camera was sort of blending into the table topics master and it sort of fuzzed throughout. So I think there must be something going on with Zoom at the moment because it's happening in a lot of meetings across the world. So maybe having a look at updating Zoom. Another thing to consider is the word superannuation. That is actually an Australianism. So that's actually an Australian word. Across the world, it's actually called the retirement fund. So probably trying to have a global aspect when we're answering the table topic in this type of delivery. But I like the way that Craig delivered his answer. He structured his answer with 3 solid points. So congratulations, Craig. Our second speaker tonight was Tetiana. What kind of tree would you be and why? She used the typical Toastmasters way of delivery. She repeated the question and said, I would be a very old tree. Well, I love that because old trees are usually wise and full of stories. Now, I'd like Tetiana to consider the use of grammar and adding adjectives to her speech to describe the tree, such as I would be a tall tree, wise and dignified. I would sway in the wind and actually deliver in the way that you would do that. And also observed the sequence of those humans who walk past, both past and present to me. I like the fact that she had a solid answer and she used what we call the way of delivery. Point, reason, example, point. So congratulations, Tetiana. Our third speaker was Yannicka Chansrichwala, one animal that represents you best as a person, and she has chosen a dolphin tonight. And what I really liked about was, instead of repeating the question, which will actually score you less points in a table topics contest, she went straight into the answer. She said solidly, I want to be a dolphin. Now, I'd like her to consider the casualness of the gestures. This is not a really appropriate look when we're on stage. Having that solid thing and actually having your hands down and being able to gesture at the right times would add more emphasis on the point. I'd also like to see longer answer, expanding and building on the story of the grandfather delivering the necklace, what this actually means to you, because this would have actually extended the table topic. Again, Yannicka has used the prep method, and by repeating the opening and solidly closing it at the end. Our fourth speaker was Tei Fujimoto. Now, Tei said, what superpower would you like to receive? She repeated again, the question saved time, but what she did was she wanted to be in the future and rather than the present. So she did something that we say in the English language, she juxtaposed the question. She said, no, I don't want to be in like the past, I want to be in the present. And I like the way that she delivered that. So I think in the way, if we're going to juxtapose a question, we have to really be solid straight away with answering that. That's actually a big tip. If you want to win a table topics question, if you juxtapose the question and you go against it, you're usually actually the person who wins the table topics contest. I think a better way to juxtapose this question would have been to come out and say, I oppose this question, and really solidifying that at the beginning. I love the way that the speaker was able to go against the question and was one of the very few that did this tonight. So congratulations, Tay. Our seventh speaker now, and that is Eric Hellewell. How many basketballs can fit on a bus? Now, he repeated the question again, but he said strongly, 0 to infinity. And that made us think, how many? So that gives us a bit of, word pictures of how he's actually delivering the speech. Now, recommendation for Eric is he used a lot of lexical and non-lexical fillers. He started off with so, and we also had quite a few you knows. So thinking about taking that time to pause rather than jumping into the question, I think would have actually delivered a stronger answer in the end. But I like the way he used a scientific method into answering these questions, and this definitely went onto a scientific tangent and made us think a little bit further. Natalie, what would you do with the elephant? I love how Natalie says she wanted the elephant to be a male one. Yes, I like male elephants because of their tusks and because of the stress. She actually pointed out the reason for and the reason why. And it was such a great emphasis on the tonality and the cadence tonight that she delivered with her table topic. Now, I would have loved to know what she did with the elephant from a business point of view, because this is business questions that we're asking. So is she going to break in the elephant and ride it for entertainment and money, use it for money purposes? Now, I know that this is quite wrong in the Western world because we see it as cruel and very obscene. But I think about it, it could have been another business enterprise. So thinking about it from the business aspect, also watching the time. I think we're right on the time there. Fun answer from Natalie. Thank you for the entertainment factor and giving us those giggles that we deserved on the screen tonight. And our final two speakers, Andrew, if on a desert island, what would you bring? 3 people or objects, and what would you bring? I thought it was an interesting way of answering the question with a more matter of fact, and it was actually rationally thought out. So Andrew was thinking, actually, if I'm going to be stuck here, who are the type of people I want to be stuck with from a logical sense? So he wants to bring the doctor, the engineer, and a farmer. Now, I think this is something that you could actually go outside the little box and outside of the comfort zone. So take this off on a tangent. You have your 2 logical people, your engineer, your doctor, but why not use something that's a little bit random? Something like a clown, a roller coaster operator, or a social media star, someone that's like a social media influencer. Just do something random. These are the type of things that will actually be points of getting you across a table topics contest. I've judged the table topics contest at a district level in 15 different countries for the last 3 years. So I do know what I'm talking about and I do know what I'm judging on. I like the way that he delivered the answer in the way that his table topic was answered. So it was a very logical and well-structured answer. So congratulations, Andrew. And Igor, what do you think of garden gnomes? What a random question. And I really like the way that Igor delivered tonight. Humorous delivery of the answer. Enjoyed how Igor bluntly said, well, the garden gnome was watching the people of the household. Really enjoyed the delivery of that. Maybe adding some personification, so giving some human tendencies to the actual garden gnome itself, such as characterization, vocal variety, etc. I think that would have actually taken this speech, this topic to a further heights and greater level. This was a wonderful way of delivering dry humor in a table topics contest. So the delivery and tone were monotonous, and this style of humor is actually quite favorable in a contest environment. So just some tips when you're doing table topics, and this is what we should be looking out for evaluations. Think about your use of your hand gestures. Did I use my hand gestures naturally with a purpose and with a point? Facial expressions, did I convey naturally on the screen? Did I represent the emotions of sadness and happiness when describing them? Eye contact with the audience in the online setting, making sure to look at the green dot always and connecting with the audience. Did I use the PREP, the point, reason, example, point, or the OREO, the opinion, reason, example, opinion methods when delivering? Did I answer the topic effectively and stay on point with the topic that was given? Did I take some time to pause and think before I launched into my table topics? That is my table topics evaluations tonight. I'll hand over to our Toastmaster of the day, Janet.
And a big applause for that very thorough and efficient table topics evaluation. And I see we have winners already. Congratulations to Andrzej and Natalie. So if we take the elephant to the desert island, we have the best of all possible worlds, but no garden gnomes will go to the desert island. All right. I appreciate some silliness this morning, this evening, wherever you are in the world. I will remind our counter, he has one last chance to use the word of the day during his report. And let's bring to the virtual stage Sergey Rychenko from Best Odessa Speakers for the counters report this evening.
Yes, thank you, Janet. I start to my report, and first for you, Janet, you use in your speech three so, and that's all. And another host of this meeting is Tetiana Bilous, is table topic master. You use 9 2 like, 1 but, and 1 prepare a speech and workshop. Andrii Tymoshenko as a speaker and as a table topic participant. You use 7 so, 9 but, 4 and 4 are. And Andrzej, Manka, in your workshop, during your workshop you use 2 actually, but 30 times, 147 times, so 28 times. You use 15 times. I mean, you use 7 times, and like you use at 8 times. Maybe because you use much more because you during your you have a big workshop, and if you have till 5 to 6 7 times, maybe it sounds will be not many times, and our tabletop and our technical experts, timer Alexander, you use only 1 but, grammarian Natalia Porobotcha, you use 1 okay, 3 1 but, and 8 and 4 so. And table topic speakers, Craig 1 so, 2 but, Tetiana 2 but, Taya 3 so, 3 1 but, Eric 2 but, 2 5 so, 3 and you use only 1 and Natalia Porobotcha as a table topic speaker, you use 3 1 so, 3 2 times you use because. And Sergey Golovatyuk as a table topic speak evaluation of speech, you use, I'm sorry, you use one a, two and 4 times, so 2 times, and but 2 times. That's all. Thank you for my report. Thank you, Janet, back to you.
Thank you for a very thorough counters report this evening. Let's hear from next our timers report for the evening, Alexander Monichek.
Report on time of prepared speech. Andrii Tymoshenko used 6 minutes and 17 seconds. Report on time of table topic session. Cardi sorry for pronunciation. Use 2 minutes 18 seconds. Tetiana use 1 minute 11 seconds. Yanika use 0 minutes 27 seconds. Tai Puimoji use 0 minutes 58 seconds. Eric Hellaway use 1 minute 27 seconds. Natalia Porobocha use 2 minutes 45 seconds. Andrei use 2 minutes 26 seconds, and Igor Filvarochi use 1 minute 13 seconds. Back to you.
Thank you. I appreciate the timekeeper. That's to me always a very difficult position because I want to listen and I forget to start the timer. So thank you very much for all the technical team efforts tonight. Very well done. Very well done. Well, I have one last poem that I would like to share before I turn the stage over to the VP of Education. And since the sun is coming up here, I have one more Mary Oliver poem I would like to share. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who made the morning and spread it over the fields. Watch now how I start the day in happiness and kindness. So I hope your day goes on with happiness and kindness wherever you are and whatever you're doing the rest of the day or the evening. And I turn over the stage to the Vice President of Education, Natalie.
Thank you so much, Janet. Please give a huge round of applause to our today's Toastmaster, Janet, for her good job. It was great. And before I pass the stage to our VP of Education, I'm going to pass the stage to our today's grammarian, who is also me. And I'm going to deliver my report. I didn't have much job for today because actually most of us are native speakers, and that is why it made my work for today, Toastmaster work, very easy. However, I have some notes, and most of them are about pronunciation. So let's start. When we are talking about person who is he, she, it, for instance, Andrzej use, we say not use, but used in the future, in the past, for everyone, when we say used. And when we say in the present time, we say uses. Andrzej uses, Natalia uses, and so on. So please pay attention to that. Minutes, seconds, not second, but second. Then, and very really complicated and sophisticated word from French language, entrepreneur. It's so hard to pronounce it, but it's pronounced like that. I hope I'm not mistaken, entrepreneur. Then the words like plan, values, matter, travel, they are pronounced like that, not plan, values, matter, travel. However, it is British English, and sometimes we over-try when we are trying to speak like British. I also do that, and sometimes I also over-try. Words like a person are pronounced like person. The same is not personal, but personal. Difficult, not difficult, but difficult. The phrase, what you will do, what will you do? Or what would you do? That's better. What would you do? Desert island, desert island. The stress is on the first syllable, desert island. Three people or three things, and I hope that's it. Metaphor, not metaphor, but metaphor. And I would like to admit that there were people who used the word of the day, which was bargain. It's good for sure. I used the word of the day, and I'm not sure that our accountant have used it, despite he was told that he had the opportunity to do that. And maybe, if I'm not mistaken, Janet was among people who used the word of the day, which is bargain. Remind me, if I'm not mistaken, if someone else used the word of the day. If that's it, yes, I see that Janet did use the word of the day. Okay, having said all of that, I'm passing the stage to our today's, to the Toastmaster, to the VP of Education of the club, to Natalie Perevocha, again me, to adjourn the meeting. It was an amazing meeting. Thanks very much to everyone who asked us, when is your meeting going to be? Hannah has left, but she answered about that. She asked about that. Thanks to everyone who participated. Thanks to Alice, who invited people. Alicia, who invited people. Thanks to everyone who is here for the first time. Thanks to our members who had been somewhere else away from club, and they are with us today. Thanks to our today's star, Andrzej Manka, who was the workshop speaker. And thanks to all the people who contributed to this meeting, to our evaluators, to the speakers, to everyone who wasn't probably invited personally, but was here with us today. And having said all of that, I would like to say that we are going to announce our next online meeting a bit later, during next week or 2 weeks. We will decide. We are going to decide the date of the next online meeting. And after I'm adjourning the meeting and after we are having the final photo, that's not going to be the end, because we are going to have our after party in official part of the meeting. So you will have the opportunity to unmute yourself and have a talk, share your opinions and so on. But we are going to do that after we are having final photo. So please, everyone who is here, please switch on your cameras, smile, express the best smile you ever had. And Lesa, I guess Lesa is going to take the picture, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Thanks for all your smiles. It's really like brings me a lot of good emotions and feelings. And I also wanted to express special thanks to our friends from Odessa, Best Odessa Speakers Club, who are also today with us and take such important roles in our agenda as well. And actually, we expect that in February or at the beginning of March, we will be scheduling the international speech contest and evaluation contest. And actually, we expect that we will be managed to organize it in hybrid format, so all of you are invited, and we will be very glad if you can be judges or some other secret about very special team during the contest, and we will be in touch with all of you. So thanks for all your attitude, for all your willingness to help Ukrainians and especially our clubs to moving forward on our Toastmasters path. Thanks to all, and with Natalie, we close the meeting, but we can open the after party. So
okay, we can unmute.